Shawn Michaels?
Yes, sir.
You've done something that a lot of WWE superstars haven't been able to do. You went out on top, and now you're pursuing different ventures. Talk about what you've got going on with the hunting show.
Well, actually, I guess we've sort of decided that it's not a hunting show. It's more of an outdoor lifestyle show. Our original idea was to do a hunting show, and then my co-host and I, Keith Mark, sort of decided that we wanted it to more reflect the life that we live, through our faith, our family, and our love of our country. And it has certainly, it's taken a new twist, and it's going to be unlike any other outdoor television show on the Outdoor Channel. And we're hoping that people will check it out. It debuts June 28th, and there is obviously a great deal of hunting in it, but I think it's going to be unlike any other show on the network.
Your faith has become such an important part of your life. Talk about the types of things that have changed, whether it be your personality, your interactions with people because of your relationship with God now.
Well, yeah, it affected everything. I was, as has been well documented, I was pretty tough to deal with years ago. And, through my faith in God, a lot of that, I have to look at it as a bona fide miracle. I mean, he changed everything about me. I just do not take a lot of things that seriously anymore, and far more good-natured. And obviously, my family is a huge part of that. The birth of my children and raising them, you begin to look at things far differently than you once did when you were young and single and by yourself. And so, and I do my best not to force it on anybody, but I'm certainly going to share it when people ask. I don't beat anybody over the head with my Bible, but if somebody asks me a question and asks me about where my hope comes from, I certainly let them know.
What would you say if one of your kids pursued a career in the WWE?
Well, I've got an 11-year-old boy that has been bitten with the bug. I mean, he's doing it constantly. I mean, he's grabbing me in holds. I bought him one of those. A life-size amateur wrestling dummy, and he's in there tossing it around, and that was to keep him from beating his daddy up too much. And I've told him that we're in the process of relocating, so to speak, and I'm gonna get a ring, and if he wants to do it, I'm gonna train him, and I want him to learn how to do it the right way. I want him to be able to make an educated decision on whether he wants to do it or not. But you spend a lot of time, sort of hoping that, because he's such a smart boy. He's a smart boy. He's a bright boy, and you want him to, he'll go and use your brain. Yeah, but right now, he's certainly been bitten by the bug, and it's enjoyable to watch, and I want to certainly help him out and not take that opportunity from him.
Since your retirement at last year's WrestleMania, how aggressive has TNA been in trying to get you to make appearances with them, or are you still under contract with WWE?
Well, I wasn't. I mean, my contract, expired just shortly after that WrestleMania. But I'm a WWE guy through and through, and Vince McMahon and myself knew it was only a matter of time before we established a new relationship going into the future. And I could never, I couldn't go anywhere else. I would never want to be associated with any other organization than the WWE. And I don't think that it does much for the name of Shawn Michaels to be associated with anyone else. So Vincent McMahon and I, we reached an agreement that both of us could certainly live with. And, I am under contract with them. I just don't, wrestle anymore, but heck, when they give me a call, I'm there.
You were one of the few guys that wore the same uniform throughout his entire career. Have you turned the station over to what's going on over at TNA, or Impact Wrestling is what they call it now? I mean, they're doing some different things over there.
Yeah, no, I've never, I actually, and it was several years ago, I watched half of a show just to see my buddy Kevin Nash on there, but I don't watch it, but not because, I don't watch the WWE that much right now because I want to, I have every intention of someday going back and working, perhaps behind the scenes and helping creatively, or just offering what I can. Whatever it is they feel I have to offer, I want to do that for them. But I feel the best way for me to do that is to get away from it for a while. So I don't have a lot of association with, there's the phone again. I don't have a lot of association with, I say association. I just don't watch much. I'm not engrossed in any wrestling product for that matter. So, and I just wanted a chance to be away from it. I felt like if I did that, I could come back more objective and fresher.
You had well-documented friendships with Kevin Nash. You mentioned Hunter. And Scott Hall, who was Razor Ramon, a guy who you had some of your best matches with. Scott Hall's going through some tough times. Is he a guy that you still keep in contact with? Is he a guy that maybe, with your background, you can maybe be helpful?
Well, I tried that earlier. It was several years ago, and he he wasn't quite there yet. But I go through Kevin a lot. Kevin is the guy that keeps in contact with him. Kevin, just recently he and I talked, and Scott, he said Scott was doing better as of after the latest downfall that he's had. And I tell you, I had called Kevin probably 2 weeks ago, and I said I don't want to freak anybody out. I said, but I have this incredible urge to just fly there, come lay hands on Scott and pray for him. I said, I don't know. And he said, well, let me go and find out if he can be seen, and because they're going to be doing evaluations on him and stuff like that. And he never called me back. And then about 2 weeks later, he called me. He said he's fine, but he's getting ready to, he's getting out. And he said, I just think the fact that you were praying for him, helped in that respect. But I haven't seen Scott in a lot of years. I mean, and that's true. That part of me is saddened by that, but at the same time, I guess I worry. I don't know if I don't want to do anything unless I help, and I don't know. Sometimes if you see somebody that had the same problems that you had, and he's doing well and you're not, you don't know if that's going to help. So I'm very tentative, and I sort of go through Kevin, and he's got a good gauge with Scott, and sort of lets me know when I can help and when I can't.
Finally, Shawn, there's a lot of victims of the pro wrestling business. Do you think changes are necessary? Maybe a 2-month off season or stricter drug testing, or do you think it's time for maybe some sort of an overhaul?
Well, I don't know. I mean, and I know a lot of people think that I'm Shawn Michaels. I've been with the company for 20 plus years. I'm towing the company line. I've watched them put things into place for 20 years, and they've continued to improve and continue to work on them. I've also watched these same guys complain about not being booked, about wanting to work every day. When I was a young guy, I wanted to work every day. I've watched them, be given the most stringent drug tests, at least that I know. I mean, again, there are people that, they tell me there's drug tests. I don't do drugs. It's that simple. So it's not an issue for me. It was just, after I got saved, they were done, and so none of that stuff was an issue for me. These guys, if a guy wants to live a reckless lifestyle, having been there, I can tell you, we're going to find a way to do it. It doesn't matter what you put into place. And I'm sorry, I'm more of an individual guy. I think a person has the right to do what they want to do, but they need to make the right decisions. I'm sorry, but I place it on the individual, not the company. I don't blame my country for stuff. I don't blame my employer for stuff. So it is a hard job, though. I mean, it definitely is a hard job. You're on the road a bunch, but that going in. I mean, you don't. I don't know what to say. I mean, that going in. You either accept that or you don't. Plus, when I went back. You can make demands. I mean, there's a lot of people that are under the impression that you can't make a demand on the company. I mean, they're in such a state now. What are they going to do? If you look at them and say, I don't only want to work this schedule, they're going to look at you and say no? I mean, there's some of the responsibilities on them, some of it's on the talent. Sometimes talent needs to push back, and I think guys can do that, but they just don't.
Maybe start a wrestling union.
Well, I mean, again, that's the thing. I mean, I think people, again, it's another one of those things where you toe the company line. But I personally don't want that stuff. Okay, I don't want the WWE deciding where I put my retirement money. I want to do that. I don't want the WWE. If I get hurt in the ring, they do pay for it. I don't want them deciding my health care. I don't want my country deciding my health care. So, I mean, this has nothing to do with my allegiance to the WWE. I want people in every aspect of my life to stay out of my business, mostly. I want my country to protect me, and I'd like to pursue the American dream. And I'll work for it. I will bust my hump and work for it. But I don't want people deciding what it is I need to do, and I don't want a group of people deciding this is what I need. So, I mean, that's the reason I'm not behind that stuff. I'm sure it would be good, for the wrestlers, but I'm a guy that enjoys being an independent contractor because I don't want the WWE in my business.
Shawn, thank you for your time. Enjoy the Central Coast, and best of luck with your outdoor show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.